Hey associates, alright, this video is a quick kind of walkthrough of Canva, some of the key tools so you can follow along, and then I also talk through just some of the real social media posts that we created for Student Academic Success, our Instagram account in Canva, and I'll kind of just talk about the tools and the ways that we created that. So go ahead and go over to canva.com and log in or create an account. They do have a free version or just settle in for a kind of watch along. So I am already in Canva. Once you log in, this is what your homepage basically looks like. And so there's different, templates that you can create. You can jump back into, of course, we have a lot of recent designs happening. And they just have a lot of really, really cool stuff set up for you, as well as places. So along the top bar, you can, learn kind of specific aspects. I definitely recommend if you haven't taken like info or graphic design classes that you, maybe click through and spend a little bit of time in this learning aspect. And then there are tutorials for the specifics. But let's just talk about some of the key things in the basics. So of course, along here is where you can navigate to your different major projects. And one thing that's cool and we do have a premium subscription, so you might not have access to this, but we use the brand kit a lot. And so, since this is for, Student Academic Success is my client essentially, I made sure to load in the UNC colors, our UNC Greeley font, our official logos. And since these are all in the brand kit, now every time I create a post, I can quickly jump to it like a shortcut and make sure everything is consistent with the brand that I want it to be. And so as you're working with, clients and creating these posts, make sure that you are being really consistent and intentional. And if you're working with like UNC, for example, I got all of those items from our official UNC color palettes, downloaded the Greeley font to then upload into my Canva brand kit, and made sure to read through the style guides to make sure that we're being cohesive with our larger kind of brand and client as well. So if we go back home, let's just kind of walk through some of the quick things. So you can create a design up here and it will ask you, if you want like something specific. And so we can just do like an Instagram post for now is obviously a very common one. Over here you have different templates. We definitely like to start with a foundation of templates often just to get the inspiration, going, but then, we go back and change it, a lot. But just kind of show you some of the elements and aspects. So if you click on, a template, again, some of these are only going to be pro templates. It loads it right in for you. And so now we can kind of see and manipulate some of these different aspects. So everything that gets highlighted in this blue just means it's its own little asset and graphic, and that you can, manipulate and change. So you can do things like, changing the position of it. You can click and just drag these things around. And there's all the blue, or like the purple lines to tell you, when it's centered, when it's not. Very, very similar to, dragging things in PowerPoint even. And so we do definitely love all of those tools. Whenever you click on something up here is how you change the color. So if you click on that, if you have a brand kit, we can see our, color scheme shows up there, and then you can just click through and change the, the color of everything. And so we can see it, changing on the end over there. You can do the same thing for different fonts. And so if you click on your font, you can, select the different fonts there as well. With fun scripty fonts, of course, you want to make sure that it's a very common word, or like a word that's going to be easy for people to know what it is already, just to make sure it doesn't turn into something that's really, really hard to read. And so always really pay attention to that. I'd say if you're going with the real decorative scripty font, keep it to like basic words really, really big, because already you can see it's like kind of hard to be like, what is that meant to be saying? Even sized up a little bit. Well, that's where you can change the fonts and then change the color of it as well. With fonts, you can also put effects on with this little tab, and that's how they're getting that shadow kind of happening. And so play around with fonts in whatever template you selected, and just take a minute to like put different offsets and shadows, try, right, all these different kind of options, changing thickness, color, and then come back to me when you're ready. Cool. All right, so now that we've had some fun with fonts, let's talk about these things. These are graphics, also called elements. So when you're in the elements, you can search for, anything, which is great. And then they have like recents, they have recommended, you can get different frames. There's really just like anything that you want. And so you can just search for, okay, this is about working. Let's just type in working and see what comes up. Right? Okay, so they have all sorts of a mixture of photos, which you are licensed to use through Canva, graphics, little images. And so you can, just click on one and then it shows up in there. So that is how they got that little graphic. You can resize it, and then of course, change its position, location, and delete different aspects as well. Cool. The other thing that they have in here is going to be this background. So you can click on the background, and then this allows you to, change what that background image is. I always like to go with very simple, kind of minimal backgrounds because, for our work with UNCO Success, where you are trying to share, often kind of important information, maybe it's about a deadline, like all of our content pillars are really around like sharing timely, relevant, like useful information. And so I don't want it often to get too lost or to compete. So I like to go with really simple backgrounds. But whatever you choose, just make sure that, people can still read what is going on with your, and it's getting a little stuck, what is going on with your text. So those are all the basic tools. Here's where you can like add new text, but those are all the basic tools of Canva. So let's go back and I'll walk through some examples and show you, the effects and how we made them. All right, so let's see, what has the team been up to lately? Oh, cool. So this is one that we made, about the FAFSA deadline that my student intern, she's fabulous, made for us. And so here, there's a couple different elements coming into play. So we have a background photo. So we got that by, literally uploading a photo and then dragging it in. It is a photo from the Bears gallery. And so you can add new photos, you just drag it, upload it, and then it's going to, show up there. So we have a background photo. Then we also have, this is a different element. It is a shape. And then on the shape, right, we just turned up and down the transparency to make it, easier to read the text. We have our two different text, elements and pieces. Again, very clean, minimal to make sure you can read it and get the message. And then we have in a little graphic here. And so she probably searched for, calendar. And, it's probably in here, you can see, oh, yep, there it is, right? Our calendar graphic. And then, we went in and just changed, right, the color. So those are kind of the three aspects that are on there. And by combining and layering in different ways, you can draw attention, right, to the different sort of pieces of your content. And so, we wanted to signal, hey students, it's clearly a student sort of in a dorm room situation, but it is a little bit, blurred, out of focus. So that way our attention can be drawn to, right, reminder, there is this deadline coming up with the calendar, kind of, again, pointing, drawing your eye back to March 1st so you know about that priority deadline. Right, next, right, we're going with is still very cohesive. So, similar kind of photo, just a little bit different to be, interest engaging as you move through. But same properties, we have an icon, we have a shape, with the transparency on so you can kind of see through, but mostly you're focused on the words. And then, within the text, you can change, how it's spaced out, the justification. You can, put bullet points and numbers, and all sorts of really great stuff. And then you can, go in and we just deleted those extra spaces, again, to make sure each bullet point was really clear, really readable. And then this one, right, same thing, except it also has this little animated graphic on there. And so in the elements, you can actually filter it for static or animated. And so that way you could also post it as a video. And so let's kind of see the last thing, even though they look static and we could have downloaded it as just static posts, but we also went through and added these different animations. And so you can have it do, right, kind of different stuff on your post, and then if you have animations, save it. That is how you can create a video for a social media post as well. So we went through and sub animations to all of them. With text, you can also do just text animations. And so they do have things like, sort of typewriter-y and burst effects. So it's just a super, super quick way to kind of create a more interesting without having to open up After Effects, or Premiere. There's definitely posts that we do edit in After Effects and Premiere. Those are typically going to be the ones that have, video that we have recorded of like people talking or things happening around campus. But for just these kind of like infographic type of posts, a quick way to like make it a little more interesting is just, adding those animations on there. And then because we do have Premiere, we are able to add music to it. So let's see, what this little 20-second post ended up looking like. And that went out and, told people all about the March deadline. And we were really happy with how it turned out and how it performed. Also got another kind of way you could situate it. So this is one that will be going out. And this is for our content pillar that we do over the weekend. We call it Weekend Recharge. You can see my team is working on it up here. And so for our Weekend Recharge pillar, all of those posts are always about like stress management and wellness and like, emotional kind of connection, inspiration to just do stuff outside of academics. And that's because, right, at Student Academic Success, we understand you're more than, the person you are in the classroom. And so we, every weekend, try to post something that's like, hey, did you know about this? And so this post is all about, of course, Northern Colorado hiking spots. And so a nice, really big, beautiful blue sky. Who doesn't want to, just imagine relaxing, seeing that over spring break, for example. So big, photo at the beginning, big font to tell people as a cover image, this is what you're going to learn, like swipe through this post so you can see it. And then this is also just a little graphic. You have a cute bear because we're the UNC Bears and the Bears going hiking. I love that the team picked that out. I think it's so cute, but also communicates something about the post. I definitely would push you to whatever graphics and elements you add, make sure they have an actual meaning to resonate with the post and tell the audience something about what to expect. And so these are, photos that we grabbed from like the National Park Service and just open access and, public domain photos. So we're not stepping on any copyright, of course. And just, cool photos of Colorado hiking. And so there's the photo. And then there's also this border that they added to it. And we have the fonts as well. So then you scroll through, we have a different, right, text asset. It's unique, so you can like drag, drop it. And again, photos. And then here's kind of a little like factoids about it. Because again, right, socials, especially on this content marketing side, since we're not selling advertisements in this aspect of social media use, right? We're selling a positive association. We're selling the reputation that our brand is helpful and valuable by, giving people information and giving them context, inspiration, something to come back to, like a reason to follow. And so we're really focused on making original content. We have our specific pillars. There's something different every single day of the week, but consistent across the week. So as people follow our account, they see, okay, Tuesday, it is a Tuesday tip, right? Like that FAFSA deadline reminder. Wednesdays, we do a campus reel. That's just cool photos from around campus, right? To different reel stuff. On Thursdays, we do a success weekly, which is a student that we record sharing something that helped them be successful. And that's something we edit in, Premiere and post. Friday, we do a little weekly wrap up of highlights and events to look forward to. And then Saturday, we do this weekend recharge. Again, that's always just like inspiration to kind of get out and about. And so that's kind of our goal in that idea of like PR and content marketing, of, our brand is helpful, valuable, follow us because we do want to support you. And so this is, how that post really plays into that is here's more info. Now, this is getting to be a little bit of, quite a bit of text. It's cut off a teensy bit. And so do kind of think about those different aspects of it, and how sort of big or small you can get away with. But beautiful. The main picture here is look how close this really, beautiful outdoors is. Go check it out over your spring break. Right? Same gorgeous photo. Love it. And here is information about it. Cool. So that's another thing you could do for your posts. And then the last example, I just wanted to kind of show you and walk you through real quick. You can combine video and kind of static posts into here. So this was a post that we did, again, as a weekend recharge. So kind of just like stress management, find ways to be creative, here's some cool inspiration. And so with this is a video, right? So I took this video and then I uploaded it to our little, uploads, added it in. And so now it's mixed between here's a video and then static post, which is a photo added on. And when we downloaded it, it was one kind of big video that we were just able to post. Instagram, we keep it less than 60 seconds, so it can go, right into the feed there. So we can see how that turns out. So yeah, that was that combo of a set video, and then these had the typewriter animation effects. And that's how we did some mixed mediums. And then, like, as you're exploring, you're creating your social posts and whatever you want to make, then you just click on the share button, and there's where you have the option to download it. And so you would download it as a video, right? If you wanted a video social media post, you could download it as, a PNG. If you just want the static post, if you select this and you did have animations or video, it will just save it as like one kind of static grab. So pay attention to that. But also if you're making flyers or whatever, you can see you can have all these different options. And that is Canvas kind of in a nutshell. The big kind of pieces, it's super user friendly, I think. Again, use the like tutorials and learning for really specific stuff that you want to do. But I hope that this was helpful and inspired you to go out and create some of your own posts. All right. Thanks, associates.